Wendy, you're recording.
Record. Thank you very much. And I'm going to welcome everybody. Hoping you are seeing my slideshow.
All good. Yes, we are.
I'm going to be in here for a very short period of time, but I did want to do why we're doing this for our lesson today. Discovery Education is a high quality resource of materials that we subscribe to in our district. We actually pay to have Discovery Education, and it's not an inexpensive the product by any means, but it does have high quality content in it and media, and it really can support the lesson building that we're doing. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of what's in there and how you might be able to incorporate it in your virtual classrooms as we get going. So as we get started, I'm going to make sure everybody please have your microphone muted and your video off. I know everybody that I saw in our participants has been in here before and seen that, but it does give us a better quality presentation for everyone attending. And then why Discovery Education? Why is this one that I chose to pitch for this week as you are building your virtual lessons? Number one, it has high quality pieces that can really engage your students. There's something about that video or that clip photo that shows what our content is that we're talking about and how that can really help get the students into what's going on. These materials are vetted, and you have the right to use them in any way, shape, or form that you need to for your classroom. So you don't need to worry about the copyright issues and things like that that might appear from a Google search. They really do help build background knowledge. In our classrooms, we've been very able to do that ourselves and show different things and put them on our smart boards and get kids into the content. But now that they're learning virtually, we have to do some other things to help build that background and get them really prepared for that piece of content that we want them to understand. These are great resources just as accessories to a lesson. Maybe not every student needs them, but oftentimes they can let students dig in a little bit deeper. And the resources in Discovery Education really do integrate well with our current teaching tools. You have the ability to put them into a Shobi or a Seesaw with a little bit of an extra step. They go directly into Google Classroom and attach them to an assignment or post them as materials in your classroom with a couple of really easy clicks. So using those materials and having them have that easy access to what we're already doing is super valuable. So I'm going to have you play along if you'd like. If you want to just watch my screen, that's fine. But it's really important to know that the login for use here is waukesha.discoveryeducation.com. If you simply go to discoveryeducation.com, it's going to refuse your login. We authenticate in district. One in our district has an easy login. So if you want to open up a tab and play along, go to waukesha.discoveryeducation.com. You should end up in a page that looks like this. I'm going to give you just a minute to reach that point. And I'm going to assume everybody is in and okay. If not, please let the group know in the chat and they will help support you getting to this point. Just a reminder, when you share this with your students, they too need to do that waukesha.discoveryeducation.com to get logged in. When you come in, yep, phone calls, it's fun. When you come in, there's a group of blocks across the top to help you navigate, but there's also some key resources down below that can be quick and easy to help you get in there. And I'm going to stop because I didn't say it when I was getting you there. Hopefully everyone did get in. The login is just your username, not your entire email address, and your district password, the same thing you would use for Infinite Campus or Skyward. So I'm hoping that worked for everyone. I do tell people if you have any issues with getting logged, just shoot me an email as an admin. I can go in and check your account, reset passwords, do anything we need to do to get in. Occasionally, we have students from our original rollout that didn't get entered correctly and they're not moving forward in their grades. Absolutely send me their name and information and we'll get them in the right spot. So quick piece on logging in there. So again, in the Discover, Teach, and Grow bar, you have these blocks that will get you to different subject areas, different parts of Discovery Education. If you scroll down in the My DE section, you'll see major topic areas. I have an admin box because I have that control in Discovery Education. You would not see that. Coding is a new area that Discovery Education has just put out. And then there are different topics that you might want to look at. You'll see that multiples, again, because of the role that I'm in. I could simply say I am coming in here and looking for something on mathematics. These are considered channels that Discovery Education has already put together and vetted the materials for in particular topic areas. One of the things I will tell you right away is start using the filtering process. So if you're really coming in and looking for high school materials, put yourself in the 912 right away. It will filter down a lot of the content and you won't see all of the very primary things right away. If you're looking more for elementary, make sure you're in the K-5 zone. That will help you get things that are more appropriate for your students. I can say, well, right now we're working on a unit in measurement. And so I'm going to click on the measurement. And then they give me even a greater breakdown. I'm going to work on area. That's the topic that we've been working on our third grade classroom, and I want to find what's available. This first top branch, this Kickstart Learning in Your Classroom, is almost more like ideas and suggestions for the teacher than it is really for the student, but it gives you some ideas that might still apply to the topic that you could use in your classroom. When I slide down below that, I get education picked as some of the top titles that might work for the content that you were looking for. And then I get into the video segments that are available and more resources that might also be available. So these are not necessarily video resources, although they might be, but there are other ones that are available in that particular segment. So if I came in here and said, well, let me see what DE has said, some of the best available. Area and circles one looks really interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and on it. And I get in and I find out this is a full video. It has 7 different segments to it. And it does have a transcript. It is closed captioned in one language, which would generally be English at this point when I see it's an English video. Some of them will be transcribed in multiple languages in their closed captioning. So that's another resource that you need to look for. It gives me a little bit of information. It also gives me citation information. So if you are somebody who is using this with students and they're creating projects, the citation information is readily available for them, which is really important. You can see that it is also a closed caption video that's there and available, and I can see related topics. And if I click on one of those, it would take me out to other videos and resources that might be linked to that same kind of content area. For my purposes right now, I'm going to hop in and see what the segments are. I might not want to do the whole video, but I can come in and see what are the topics that this video covers in smaller segments. One of the things that we have stressed in our team when we're working on this is that using those smaller short videos and actually having the students do something with that content is better than putting them in front of a 20-minute video and just saying, watch this to see what they pick up. So I could come in and say, yes, I need that circled piece, but I really need the circumference information. Or I really want to deal with areas of something that I can go ahead and use. When you are in a video, whether it be a small segment video or the larger video, you have multiple choices over here on the side. These are really, really helpful so you don't have to keep redoing your search. So if I want to, I can say, you know what, this one looks really interesting. I'm going to come back and look at it later. I can simply click and add it to my quick list. And if you notice up here at the top, my quick list went from 12 to 13. This is just a quick kind of bookmark for these are the ones I want to come back and take a look at. And there for me to be able to come back and use them quickly and easily. If I said, wow, this is a fabulous video, I really want to use this segment, I quickly and easily grab that link and post it into any of my places where I am distributing content. So it could be in a website, it could be in my Shobi or Seesaw, but you will notice that there's also a classroom integration here. So I click Classroom, and it's going to take me linked to my classroom because I'm logged into it now on my computer and say, well, pick your class. And so that goes to my practice class. And then what do you want to do with it? I can actually create an assignment. I could pose a question and give them the video to be able to review and get background knowledge for the question that I'm asking. I could make an announcement, or I could just post it as material in my classroom for a topic we're doing. I create the assignment. It's literally going to take me into that same builder I would see if I were in classroom. I can add my instruction. I can post it for all students or particular students. And I can put any due dates and I can assign it to the topic that we're working on. In this case, it's part of my math. And I can simply assign it. Or I could say schedule it for later, or just save the draft for me right now. I'm going to come back to that one later on. And I can simply say view, and it will take me right into Classroom and let me see it in Classroom. So very quickly and easily, you can get the content into the system that you are already using for distributing your content to students. I also have the ability in Discovery Education to create a class, enroll my students, and actually have them work within Discovery Education on their particular materials. So I, at this point, could say, I'm going to assign that, and it's going to say, what's your dates on it? If I click on the calendar and say it's today, I want to do a week from now. I can go back next to pick my class, very similar to what you saw in Classroom, and I assign it. And it goes to all of the students that are in there, and I can say, okay. There are another way, or there's another method to be able to do this in Discovery Education where you can assign it to specific students within your class. It would not have to be everybody, but the quick assign from right here is to do it that way. There's also 3 buttons here for the more. If I click on the 3 buttons, I can take it into Studio, which is a builder where I can create an activity and add that content to it. I can simply say, add it to my content. Think about this like saving it in your own folder. So while I did a quick hit up here, and it's on my quick list to come back to, that's kind of an unfiltered list. It's just going in there, fast bookmark thing. My content allows me to organize it and create folders, much like I would do in my Google Drive, only it's sitting inside Discovery Education. I also have the ability to download. If I said, wow, this is really great, and I need to use it in another way, shape, or form, I can take and download that video. File quality, not only for your download use, but for your students who might be accessing it in another format. I can also download the closed caption file. So I have the words that go with that video. For right now, I'm going to cancel, but I would simply click on that and it would say, where do you want to put it? I can save it to my desktop. I could save it to my Google Drive. I could throw it in my documents. Totally up to me where I want to put it if I download it. Students also have the ability to download, which is really cool because they can open it in iMovie, and it is an editable video. They can actually edit and take chunks to put into a report, to share through Flipgrid, to turn in for a classroom assignment. It really functions well with the tools that we are already using. hop back to the homepage here really quick. Into what they consider a channel. These big squares are their channels where they curated and kind of put those pieces together in a particular topic area. On the top here, you have the ability to move through some different areas. Trending is really great for seeing what's kind of the big topics now, what's happening. So here, coding, space day, holidays, virtual field trip on vaping that's coming in. Go and end up with things for Earth Day, you end up with things for COVID, imagine. But it gives you some of those current topics. So any of you that are working on current events or want to include those in your classroom, there's fabulous resources here to be able to do that. If I go by subject, I'm going to end up with kind of those big blocks again that you're looking for. I can say I'm going into mathematics. Once I select mathematics, I'll get those levels, other areas again. I can drill down to exactly what I'm looking for my particular topic area. I will tell you that Discovery Education has a wealth of videos and it continues to grow at a rapid pace. But you may find that you walk into a topic that you're trying to find and it just doesn't exist here. But I'd much rather start with really well curated content and go from there than have to start kind of in that wild, wild west of Google and assume that what I'm finding is quality materials. Start here, and if you can't find it here, then it's a good idea to bring a resource someplace else. Also lets you search by standard, which I find really valuable, especially if I'm looking to do something in a particular area. I can come into my common core standard here and decide what it is I'm looking for. In this case, I'm going to go into my mathematics for my third grade again. And it gives me my main areas. I'm saying we're working on fractions. I need to open up fraction standards. And then you will start to see, if I open this one up, I see another. So this is a resource that I've built to go with understanding of fractions as numbers. It's almost like a lesson plan is describe it for you. But it really does a job of giving you a content area and what the standards are with that particular topic. And after you get the overview, I can click here, I can see the standards, I can see the lesson overview, I can see what the different sessions are that are involved. And if there is any content that is needed, it's all in here and linked. I could download these particular pieces and put them in my Google Classroom to build this lesson out. I could offer them out on Shobi or Seesaw. I could build a slideshow in my Google Slides that has all these parts available for students, or I could do it right here in Discovery Education if I chose. I don't recommend changing over to Discovery Education if you already have a delivery system for your students, but if you're still kind of working on that, this can be a great way to be able to organize the materials and see them going. But fabulous lesson plan helps these resources and what they are that you need. Each lesson has those same parts and pieces to it. If I click this last tab for the DE resources, it gives me a quick and easy spot to see what it is I need and what I would want to download, as well as links to any videos that are available. So I could click on them and see right what it is that this video focuses on. And again, I'd have all those of being able to bookmark it, be able to put it in a content area for myself, or download it if I need it. So these by standard areas are really helpful in kind of building out that activity or lesson around a content area. And they have a lot of engaging resources to get your kids really involved. This goes into what we've been talking about in our virtual chats here the last 2 weeks about kind of not just doing a one and done, throw the content at them very quickly, but do that larger development of understanding and give them time or a period of time to work on that instructional area so that they can really develop a deeper understanding of that particular area. So these blue squares are really what is considered my DE or Discovery Education resources. That's where you're searching and looking for the content in those different pieces. I'm going to show you one more thing in looking at searching for a content area. So if I come in here and say, I'm doing my math, and I'm looking at measurement, and we're going to be doing circumference here. Once I've walked in some of these pieces, I'm going to check my here because I'm seeing what I want to see. Okay, let me go back. It's not my channel. So also, as a choice, when you come in here, you have a search feature. So I can say, I am looking for area. Do that. I can say, I'm really looking for area mathematics. I'm doing it for my third grader, so I'm going to pick this area. Or I can say, well, something for second grade would probably be just as appropriate for my third grader. So I'm going to do both of those areas and be able to do that. I have right across the top of my bar, I can look for those channels, those big sections where they've actually curated the materials and put them together. I could say, you know what, I just needed a video. I need to find a good video or video segment that would work for this content to support what I'm already teaching. I can click and say, I need to see images that go with this content. So it's just a straight picture, but it's something that I might integrate into my lesson, or the students might use for something, or maybe I'm just going to put it in my Google slideshow for the instruction piece that I'm doing. And mine is not playing well with me here. Here we go. So into the images, if they exist, I can see if there's a resource that comes with this particular activity, or I can look for a board. Now, a board is actually something that is built in Discovery Education, and you can kind of see they have that of something that's been assembled. It's parts and pieces of Discovery Education that have been gathered and put together. They can be done by students, be done by teachers. It's a great way to kind of put your resources together and then build activities around them. So these are boards that somebody else has already built on my particular topic of area here that I could go in, and then I can make it my own and edit, or I can share it out with my students, and my students can actually build and edit those boards. Under the category, you also have the ability to look for audio, interactives that might be available, lesson materials. Those will take you into where we were with the standards, where a lot of those parts and pieces are built. Or is there professional learning available in Discovery Education on the same topic? You notice over here, I have the ability to decide how I'm looking at my results. Am I looking at it by the relevancy of it, whether it's the most popular right now? Was it recently added? I'm looking for something. I can actually look by copyright date, so I'm getting the newer materials. I can determine whether I'm happy in my grid view or whether I want to switch to list view. And over on the left-hand side here, there are some filters, and clicking this blue filter up at the top will turn that on and off for you. But it's nice to be able to look and say, what is it I am looking at or researching for? So I'm going to go back to my all selector, and you'll notice that changed my filters here on the left-hand side a lot. So I'm in my mathematics, so it's giving me those mathematical topics, and I can say, well, I'm really looking for areas when it comes to measurement, and I can filter it by measurement, and then it gives me even subtopics, so I can drill down in even closer. It also lets me choose by the details of that material. I need closed captioning. I need my students to be able to see the words, to follow along with the video. I can say, just show me those captioned. Editable. I want my students to be able to take these videos and download them and do something with them in iMovie or in clips, and they can actually work with that particular content if it's editable, as opposed to just a replay. And then I'm looking for materials that are also related to this, maybe not something that is direct piece, but another content that goes with it. I can look by publisher. So they have some very big publishers that are in here. I know my kids love the Slim Good Body stuff. I'm going to that. Or I want it only to be from Discovery Education because I know they're producing good content. You do have the ability to sort by language if there are multiple languages available. In this case, for my drill down, there's only English available, but many times, especially if you stay on broader topics, you will actually see that Spanish show up there as well. And then I can also search by copyright. So I can say, I really need it to be new. If I were researching COVID, I probably wouldn't want to go research things that were copyright 2001 or older. I'm going to want it to be in something that's very, very new. And that would let me filter that out right away to be able to do that.
Hey, Wendy, we have a question. Denise is wondering, do you have to be in a class to access the boards? Can you just go through that process of accessing the boards real quick? Thank you.
To actually access a board or to create one?
It says, do you have to be in a DE class to access the boards? So I'm not, Denise, do you want to clarify? Are you wanting your kids to create boards or do you just want to get to the resources of the boards?
When I've tried to do it before, it has stated that I need to have a Discovery Education class to create a board for my kids to participate in. And so I'm asking because I think that would just be really challenging for some of my kindergarten families. I use the videos and I don't want to put my families over the edge.
And what you can do with the boards, and I'll actually show that as we get into the studio area, is you can create a board yourself so that you put in those different content pieces, and then you can take the link to it and put it out into your other classroom area. They're consumers then. They can't edit, they can't build in it, but you could have, hey, we're studying Great Barrier Reefs. Here are images, here's 3 videos that'll help. And here's a question that I want you to think about. And then they could submit the question back in whatever format you're already doing those kinds of things, but they would not be able to build or edit the board without actually coming into Discovery Education. Does that clarify that for you?
It does. Can I link that board then through Google Classroom like I would a video?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I could do a weather kind of board for the kids. So that would be wonderful.
Absolutely. So once you switch over here to the box, you're now looking at the teacher content. Those are my parts of education. So that my content folder is, like I had talked about, kind of like your Google Drive. If I click on my content, see things that I have saved or put into a particular area in my Discovery Education. It's taken a second to load here. So you can see very similar. I happen to be looking at videos and things for the Great Barrier Reef. So when I went to save to my content, I created a folder, I tucked everything in there, and all of the resources that I found that support my Great Barrier Reef information are in here for me to work with. And again, I have the ability here to do different things with them. I can assign them to my class, I can send them to my Google Classroom, I can do some different pieces with those, but essentially I'm sharing that information there for my use later on. I can sort and filter it. It's kind of like thinking about your Google Drive and organizing your Discovery Education content to make sense for yourself. One of the really pieces about this is that you also have the ability to share. I had created a first grade science folder that I was working on with a teacher, but I can also copy that folder, and it's going to say, where do you want to copy it to? I can copy it to my school content. And if I say it's going there, whatever school I'm logged into is going to get a copy of my first grade science. So anyone else who's a first grade teacher in my classroom could come in and click on and be able to have access to all of the things that I had put together. And they would not have to curate their own folder in my content if they didn't need to. You can also copy it to district content. The only caveat on district content is there is a backdoor approval that an admin needs to do, and then that content gets posted out to district-wide to every one of ours and is available for all teachers to access. So, like, rather than recreate the wheel all the time, what a wonderful way to curate content and say, these are great things that fit with our first grade weather unit or kindergarten weather unit, in Denise's case, and then send it out to everybody. So now I don't have to go search Discovery Education for weather stuff. I know Denise has compiled some of the best resources. If I want to add to it, I absolutely can. So that's just kind of a great way to be able to add some of those pieces in there and share them across all areas. So I'm going to back once into the main area just to show you how you're doing that My Content step. In a video, I'm pushing it on that loading. We'll get there. And I say, wow, this is really great. I want to save this into my content area. I'm not going to do this because that's going to be awful later on. So an international website is perfect. This is the one that I want to work with. Okay. Under more info, if I want to do it just right away, I can click and say, it's going to say, where in your My Content do you want it to be? I can say, I need a new folder. I don't have a literacy one yet. And I'm going to check that as okay. I'm going to see, please put it in the literacy folder and add. So now when I need that video again, I'm going to find it in my content area. I don't have to go back and search and say, what are the parts I did? How did I get there? When I click in my content, I now have a literacy folder. Literacy folder is at one. So it's a really great way to be able to kind of collate and understand where your stuff is. You don't have to go back and find it, and it stays. So with year to year to year to year, those pieces are still going to be there. Now it is possible that Discovery Education would be taken away or disappear, but your bookmark to it would be there and you'd be able to find that out very quickly and easily. And great action. I can move it to another folder, another place if I need to. I can delete it because you know what, it disappeared. I don't need it anymore. I could have my Discovery Ed classroom if I wanted. I could add it back to my quick list, but that seems kind of counterproductive. But I also have the ability to share, which is really huge. Here's the link to that content, that particular video. If I copy that, I can paste it anywhere else I would do any other hyperlink. Your students do need to log into Discovery Education in order to view that content. So they would need to log in and then click the link. If they click the link first, it's going to prompt them to log in, but it'll still get them straight to that particular video. I just recommend that it's way easier if you have the kids log into Discovery Ed and then go into your Seesaw, Google Classroom, your slideshow, wherever it is you're having them click the link to access it, because it's just that much cleaner a connection. But I can, from here, say, I want to put it in my Google Classroom. And just like we did, it's going to say, what's your class? It's going to say, what's your action? I want to make this material in my class. I want to make an announcement. This is really great. Check this out. It's a cool video. Just like I would do with anything else. And I simply say post, and it's now an announcement in my class, which I can view right away if I need to, or I can simply stay in Discovery Education and keep working. So it's a great way to link content into those things that you are already doing. Are there any questions on the My Content writing? Because that's a space where you're going to want to kind of curate your content, make those folders, get things organized for yourself.
Not seeing any in the chat right now, Wendy.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and slide over to Studio. It's a really pretty powerful tool that's available in Discovery Education, again, for you to curate that content, but also to have your students interact with that particular content. So you can create your own boards here. You can go ahead and look for others and copy them in here, which is what I did with this particular one. If I show you the ancient civilization board, I didn't build, found somebody else's. I said, hey, I like that, but I have now editing rights on that board, and I can distribute it to my with different types of editing rights or viewing rights on it. In this case, this one has multiple pages. So they're giving them some content to view ahead of time on the different pieces. Build my learning and understanding. I can add text, any text that I choose in here as well. In this case, they actually are having the students do an activity. So they're working on 6-word story. Discovery Education has some of these fabulous, what they call SOS Learning Activities. And it's spotlight on strategies. And they've built tutorials for staff to understand what they are. And then they have ways for you to implement them in your Discovery Education content, like in the board builders. So I will be showing you one just a little bit later, but in this case, they've actually got the strategy here, and then they've got directions that the teacher has written for what the student needs to do to complete the assignment for this activity that they've been interacting with. So I'm not just asking them to view content or watch videos, I'm asking them to do something with that. And as a teacher, if you've downloaded somebody else's board, you have full rights to edit this. I could say, nope, that's not what I want to do. I could delete that strategy. I could change the wording here. I could change the images or videos that are in it to make it more appropriate to my level. So once I've downloaded it into my board, I completely have the ability to do anything I wish with it in that mode. I've created one on the Great Barrier Reef just to kind of show you some of the parts and pieces. Again, it's not full editing piece. I'm not going to be able to do massive things with it, but I can make some changes on background colors. I can do patterns and things come in. I can delete the pieces and parts. In this case, I've built in an image, I've built in a video, I've built in another video that I would want to work with. Asked a question. If I send this to students either individually, they can edit on their own, or I can send it collaboratively and we can build our understanding as a class all together. So in this case, one of the students has answered and posted their response to the question that was up above. Collaboratively build our knowledge as we work through it. I can ask a question and pose a question for the class in the particular area. And they have what they call a Wonder Board, where it just creates all of these squares for me, and I can add more if I need to, where students then can come in and each edit their own square about what their thought is on helping the barrier coral reef survive. So taking that topic, taking it so that they're not only just watching the videos, but they're actually interacting and building those pieces. To Denise's question, if I want them to be able to edit this, they do have to be in a classroom in Discovery Ed. They have to log in order to be able to interact with that content. So that is a piece of Discovery Ed. You can take it out as a PDF. A student could take it into Notability and do their writing and Notability on top. Or the Google Classroom annotation tools, but markup tools, but know that it is static PDF if you pull it out of Discovery Education. So just know that that is a piece with that particular tool.
Wendy, just a question. From Denise, can I record my voice instead of text?
I don't know the answer to that question. You can upload to Discovery Education. So I'm assuming you could make an audio track in a voice memo or a GarageBand audio and pull it in there. I'm not sure that you can do it in Discovery Education itself. You would probably have to make the audio track and pull it in. But I will add that to my notes and I will get back to you on that.
One other piece, Wendy, when you said the boards, when you pull them out as a PDF, does that mean that everything on the board becomes static, including if you had videos embedded?
Still work.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that for folks who
Got
are,
it. Yep.
yeah, gotcha.
Thank you. The assessment builder is really, really an awesome tool. Doesn't work on an iPad. Sorry. It just gives them the ability, gives you the ability as a teacher to create either multiple choice or multiple answer questions. So it's very much box checky, not necessarily the kind of assessment we usually do, but I would love it to work for students on an iPad so I could just get some quick data on whether they really understood the video or the content they were consuming. But it doesn't play well on an iPad. If you have students with Chromebooks at home or working on a computer, it could be something that you might still employ. But for today, I'm not going to do that. The last piece here is classrooms, and classrooms is where you can set up your Discovery Education class. So I have assignments, student reports, student boards available to me here, and I can use URLs if I'm doing that. In classrooms, when I click on it, I get the ability here to create a new classroom. In this case, I have one called DE Test. It's really down and dirty. Give it a name. Give it a description if you choose. Click Save. Once it says, hey, students in here. So I can come in and say, if I already have classroom members, I can do that. Or I can say, let's play off my school's roster. Or I can go ahead and edit. Download a list in here. It doesn't work nearly as well. But if you look and say, I'm looking at my school roster and I need all the LISCAs that, last name. I need all the LISCAs I can find. It will actually search my school roster. Hey, here's a person and I can add them in. Don't search by a name. I can do a grade level search and say, I just need my third graders from my school. And it will pull up your third grade roster. It makes it pretty quick and easy to say, this is one of mine, 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 and get them all added into your classroom just directly from the Discovery Education piece. Once I've done that, I simply want to make sure that I click Save. Save is an important piece to that. And it'll tell you if you didn't get your students there. So quick and easy, you can add those pieces, and I can duplicate a class. If I say, wow, I got all my kids in there, but that was for my math stuff and I don't want the literacy stuff in the same place, duplicate the class, change the name on the duplicate to literacy. You don't have to go through that. If you're completely done with the class, you can archive it and tuck it away. It's not something that's active. Students are seeing it. So quick and easy way to create a classroom. Once I have a classroom, I have the ability to go in and work with my students, use in there. I can take them off the classroom. I can actually log in as the student to see what they're seeing, which can be really helpful for those who say, yeah, they're not seeing what I'm seeing, or it's not working right, or whatever it happens to be from there. But once you have that classroom created, that gives you that ability to be able to send things to students so that they can actually get assigned tasks in Discovery Education. I'm going to slide over quick to these last two kind of teal groups over here. These are professional development areas for teachers. So the instructional strategies that we talked about, SOSs, are really fabulous ways to use not only Discovery Education tools, but just the things that you might do instructionally in a classroom. One of the things, I had a conversation with a teacher about the SOS, and we were saying that these are just good instructional strategies. And I said, yeah, but if you were in AVID school, they'd be telling you it's an AVID strategy. So it's those same kinds of things that you might get with your learning around AVID or around good instructional practices, supporting learners in your classroom. But they're great tutorials that can really help you implement them. And then there's some formats and pieces that will help you lay that out for your students and get started with activities that do that. In the professional learning tab here, it's a great place to go and find out more about Discovery Education. There's great ways to connect and get forums and reader boards and things that are coming from a larger group. But very simply and easily, if you slide down here to the Learn and Lead, there are step-by-step guides and interactive classes for all of these kinds of things that we were talking through today. So their guides are very well written. They go through very slowly and carefully with each of the steps so that you have the ability to really take that and use it for your own if you feel like you need that extra support coming into the experience itself. So I'm going to take up here and let's see if I can others here. So right now, sharing my iPad on the top. You guys are seeing that, correct?
Yep, we are. Poor Everly. She's enrolled in everything.
Nothing like having a granddaughter in the school district because, you know, she's going to look at her iPad like, why do I have messages? She was assigned a ton of stuff today. So if you look at her DE, she's in and logged in. She still has the ability just to explore. She can go in and find topics and see what it is that she wants to look at or use, take a virtual field trip. She could build a board in Studio if she was like, I've done that and I want to build my own. But at the very top, you'll see that she's received assignments from me. So if I tap simply on the view all assignments for her, she goes into what looks very much like a grade book, something that she might have seen before. In the Great Barrier Reef at the very top here, you'll see that it's a folder. I just assigned that whole darn folder of everything I collected to my student in the classroom. So she sees all of those same resources that I tucked aside and made available. And she could work with any of those if she chose. She also has those boards that I had assigned. So if I go into the Ancient Civilization board, it's going to load that up for her. And the ability to come in, again, click the editing tool at the top. And because I sent this out the way I did, they have full editing content rights on this board as well. So when we talked about that 6-word story or whatever it was that they needed to, they can come in and edit. So she could literally write her 6-word story right in the spot that was there and available on the board. Very simple editing tools, all available on the iPad. Very similar to what our students are used to with Google Docs. So it's not a terrible shock in those different parts and pieces.
Hey, Wendy, when you send it out this way, can you clarify, is each student getting a copy of the folder?
I folder to everybody, so yes, they would each be getting their own copy, but they're just links to stuff.
Okay.
Here I did the board. It's actually a studio board, like we talked about building. Each one I sent it out so it's editable by the entire class. It's collaborative. In the other, I sent individually. So each student gets their own copy that they can do. And when you send a board, you have that ability to do that. Either way.
Just wanted to clarify that for everyone so that they knew when they're sending it out, if they want the whole group to edit or they want individual students to edit.
Just like a Google Classroom assignment. And in this particular one, this is that video that I saved for her, sent it out, assigned, if you remember when I did it from the teacher mode, I came over here and assigned it to my whole class directly from when I saw it. They have the ability also to go in and see what are the different segments that are available in that and say, well, I understand what circles are, but I don't understand the radius and diameter. So I'm going to watch that particular video. And it's going to take me a while to load. I'm going to hop back where I have it here so I can show you. They also get the same tools that you did, so they could add it to their quick list. I know I need to come back and I want to use that again soon. I can share it out to my Google Classroom and attach it to an assignment if I need to, or post it in my Shobi Classroom or whatever else from there. They also have the ability to say, wow, I really learned a lot with this. I'm going to take it into Studio and create a board about circles an area and show my understanding. They can add it to their My Content folder, or they can download it. And again, they have the same features. They can download it on the iPad. In Safari, it actually shows up in their downloads. And from there, they can take it and say, where do I want that to go? So once I've downloaded that particular item, I have choices just like I would with other content of where I'm sending it to. I can put it in my drive. I can say more and say, you know what? I'm going to edit this and work with it. I'm going to open it in iMovie. I'm going to create a new one with those circles. And now I can take the clip out of it I want. I could take a snapshot out of it and put it into my learning portfolio or a particular task and assignment that I need to do. So it really is a powerful tool for them to get that content and those resources and be able to work with that. That's discovery education in a really fast nutshell. Are there questions?
Not seeing anything in the chat on that front, Wendy.
I guess my biggest piece that I would say is it's a great resource to be able to access content, but that content can be built into any lesson that you are doing any place else. It doesn't have to be in discovery education, and you don't have to send students to those videos. You can build them right into the learning experience that you are high quality resources. Those video segments, oftentimes 2 minutes or less, are really consumable content without having to do a whole lot of work over a 20 or 30-minute video.
I also think, Wendy, it's just a great place to go, especially in the environment that we're in. Teachers are having to create so much more as learning, like tutorials and things. There's so much here that's created. So it's a really good place to search before recreating that wheel and saving yourself some time, looking for the things that you're like, you don't have to create a fractions video tutorial because there it is. And not only is there one, there's probably about 20 to choose from, and it's already, you know, vetted and good content. So just something to keep in mind as you're looking forward and building things. Search your repository first, see what's there before you go and start creating your own materials. Save yourself some time and frustration.
And we can all use a little extra time. And even just to post it as a writing prompt instead of that text or paragraph saying, hey, write about this. What if it's a video that they watched? What if it's a picture and tell me what you're seeing or noticing?
I, for one, love, like, I think Discovery Ed, there's lots of cool things inside of there, but I, for one, am a huge fan of the SOS strategies. Like, even before, you know, it was Discovery Ed became so well known in schools, like the SOS strategies were out there online for free. And I feel like those are super, super beneficial because it's just good teaching. Like you said, connection to Avid. It's good teaching strategies, and that's what the SOS strategies are too. And I super love the fact that now they've made a little video tutorial showing you how you could use that. Think about how that, you know, throwing one of those into the mix in your digital classrooms might encourage students to kind of jump in for an activity, right? So if we're facing that declining kind of attention span from some of our kiddos, think about how you can pull them in with one of those SOS strategies just by presenting information in a different kind of way.
Many of them now have been created. We'll talk about how to do it digitally at the end. And I always call it the app smash. And we throw in, oh, you could do that via Padlet, and you could do it via Google Docs, and you could do it via Word, and, you know, those kinds of things. Don't hesitate to reach out to your instructional tech team and say, okay, this is the strategy I'm thinking about. What are the apps or tools that are going to work really well for a student to do this on the iPad? I was looking at one today that was really, I flipped my notes over, let me look back. Paper Chat. just a neat way for kids to interact with each other and the content. And they can do it digitally, and it would be fabulous on Jamboard. I mean, it's the perfect tool to have a strategy for them to really interact with that content together collaboratively. So good tools to use. Thank you for coming today. We appreciate it. The video will be up when we get it rendered out, and share with your friends. Thanks.